right. I've got 1 o'clock. Let's go ahead and call this Pompano Beach City Commission meeting to order this March 12th, 2024. To start with, if I could ask everyone to please silence their cell phones or put them on vibrate so we don't get disrupted during the meeting, that would be ideal. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier.
Here.
Commissioner Moss.
Here.
Commissioner Perkins.
Here.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Here.
Vice Mayor McGee.
Here.
Mayor Harden.
Here, thank you. Our invocation today will be given by Reverend Dr. Greg Fitch, Psychology and Hospital Chaplain. So if we could please rise for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Pastor.
Let us pray together. Eternal God, creator, sustainer of all things, we want to first off thank you for all that are gathered here today. Thank you for the many and abundant blessings upon our community here as we live in one of the greatest cities in America. We thank you as well for life itself, for the measure of health that we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance, and for friendship. Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work and for the honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Thanks as well for the freedom to embrace you or the freedom to not follow you. Thank you for loving us even so, from your boundless and gracious nature. As we commit to you today and the agenda set before this council, we ask that you would provide wisdom to govern amidst the conflicting interests and issues of our times, a sense of the welfare and true needs of our people, a keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in what is good and fitting, the ability to work together in harmony even where there is honest disagreement, and personal peace in our lives and the joy in the tasks that we have set before us. So we ask your blessing upon this venue, and we do it all for your glory and in your name. And everyone said?
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right, at this point in time, I'd like to take just a moment to change up our agenda. We've got indeed a great pleasure today, but I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our city manager, Mr. Harrison, to explain what will take place next.
Thank you, Mayor. So today, Sheriff Tony and I have the pleasure of introducing Captain David Elwood as the next district chief for the city of Pompano Beach. And I believe at this time, Sheriff Tony has some major leaf pins to pin on Captain Elwood. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Welcome,
First of
Sheriff.
all, good afternoon, everyone. Mayor, city manager, and all my commissioners, thank you for having us come here. It is a delight, and we understand the importance and significance behind any time we have a major changing of the guards. We're getting a new district captain, or a major in this case, taking over the command. It's important for us to be here. As you can see, all of our executive command staff members are excited about this transition. As you all have witnessed, we have provided you with some of the top quality individuals, and I am most certainly 100% in support of your selection to bring Major Elwood into this position. He has been a phenomenal captain, leading up one of our largest areas of liability at the airport for over 6 years now, where almost 38 million people come through that all the time with all its different complexities. So thank you for giving us a chance to come here and actually be part of this transition. I've tried to make it my business for any time we're replacing the district captain or commander to be present and welcome them into this position so that you all know that they have the full support of the entire administration. So without further ado, we'd love to be able to bring Major Elwood up and make it official.
Absolutely, yes.
Under Sheriff.
We've got good fire rescue in case.
So without further ado, here's your Major Elwood, District Commander.
All right. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate it.
So Mayor, while Major Elwood is shaking hands with his compadres, I want to let you know that he comes to us with great experience, 5 years at the airport where he's right now. He'll be kind of going back and forth to work things out and tie up loose ends there. But he starts today here in Pompano Beach.
Very good.
And he has also, another thing that impressed us a lot is he was over the homicide division for BSO for 12 years. And when I read what he was all about, his father is here from Baltimore. Sir, would you stand, please? He's a fourth generation, and our Major Elwood is fifth generation police officer from their great family. So
Very
thank you
good.
for being here.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your
All the way from Baltimore.
Well, like I said, today is indeed a great day. So Major Elwood, would you like to come forward and say a few words to start your tenure off as the Chief of Police for the city of Pompano Beach? Hate to put you on the spot, but no, right there is good. Get used to it.
First of all, I'd just like to thank the sheriff, the undersheriff, and the executive command staff for having faith in me and presenting me as a candidate to the city of Pompano Beach. And I want to thank the city manager and your staff for a thorough selection process. I know how important the decision is, and I appreciate it. I'm humbled by it, and I look forward to making sure the city of Pompano Beach is safe every single day.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, and welcome aboard. Thank you. All right. That was indeed great news. Thank you for that. All right. Can I get a motion approving the regular City Commission meeting minutes of February 27th, 2024?
So moved. Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you for that. Mr. Harrison, any changes to our agenda?
No, sir.
Very good. Can I get a motion approving the agenda as printed?
So moved. Second?
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. That takes us up to our consent agenda discussion. On our consent agenda, we will be pulling item number 2 for individual discussion. So item number 1 is eligible for discussion during audience to be heard. That takes care of our consent. That takes us up to proclamations. We've got a couple of proclamations today. I'll be over at the podium over here for Child Abuse Prevention Month as well as Government Finance Professionals Week. We'll start with Child Abuse Prevention Month. Let's see. Nicholas Hessing, Government Affairs Manager for Children's Service Council of Broward County, will be meeting me over here, I understand. Thank you. All right, let's see. Sure. Yes, here we go. Anytime we can help prevent child abuse, of course, is a good thing, and thank you for all that you do in that regard. Whereas the Broward Aware campaign is a collaboration between the Children's Services Council, the Office of Prevention Fund, the Ounce of Prevention Fund of Florida, and community partners across Broward committed to preventing child abuse and neglect so children can reach their full potential. And whereas the Broward Aware campaign is dedicated to promoting positive youth development, strengthening families, and combating child abuse, neglect, and trafficking. And whereas child abuse and neglect are serious problems affecting every segment of our community, and finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in our community. And whereas children are vital to our community's future success, prosperity, and quality of life, as well as being most vulnerable assets. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment. And whereas to increase attention to this issue, cities are requested to light up their city hall blue for Child Abuse Prevention Month and show your commitment by wearing blue on Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families. Now therefore, I, Rex Harden, Mayor of the City of Pompano Beach, on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Child Abuse Prevention Month and call upon all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating themselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families. On this 12th day of March 2024, Rex Harden, Mayor. And thank you so much for all you do. I'd like to share a few words.
Thank you to Mayor Harden, the Commission, to the City of Pompano Beach for recognizing this important month. You know, at the Children's Services Council, we're focused on helping every child achieve their full potential, but that's not possible unless they're raised in safe and nurturing communities. And so cities like yourself, with both your actions and through this proclamation recognizing Child Abuse Prevention Month, helps move the needle in that direction. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you do. All right, next up we have Government Finance Professionals Week. Miss Allison Furtado, Arietta? Got a couple of folks coming up. There we go. Let's see. Okay. You got a whole bunch of people. There's a lot of people involved in government finance. It's important work. Very good, thank you. Whereas the Florida Government Finance Officers Association is a professional association founded in 1937 and serves more than 3,300 professionals from state, county, and city governments, school districts, colleges and universities, special districts, and private firms. And whereas the FGFOA is dedicated to being your professional resource by providing opportunities through education, networking, leadership, and information. And whereas the Government Finance Professionals Week, sponsored by the FGFOA and all of its member governmental organizations, is a week-long series of activities aimed at recognizing government finance professionals and the vital services that they provide to our state and our community. And whereas during this week, government finance professionals throughout the state of Florida will be acknowledged for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. Now, therefore, I, Rex Harden, on behalf of the entire City Commission of Pompano Beach and residents, do hereby proclaim the week of March 18th through the 22nd, 2024, as Government Finance Professionals Week in the City of Pompano Beach, and extend our appreciation to all government finance professionals throughout the state and here in the City of Pompano Beach for their hard work, dedication, and leadership. Done this 12th day of March 2024. Rex Harden, Mayor. Thank you all so much for what you do. I appreciate it. You keep track of everything having to do with finance, and that is so critically important when we're dealing with taxpayer dollars, of course. So thank you so much. Appreciate it. Care to say a few words?
Mayor, thank you to the City Commission and GFOA. We want to extend our appreciation for all finance professionals, and there are over 40 of those in the City of Pompano Beach, so we cannot do the work we do without all of us and all of them. So thank you again, and looking forward to working with you.
Oh, here is, let's see. Thank you, appreciate it. Critical services by our finance folks out there. All right. That takes us up to our presentation. Speaking of finances, presentation of Internal Audit Activity Report, Memorandum 24-01, for completed and ongoing audit projects, technical assistance, as well as follow-up for implementations from previous audit project recommendations, covering the 13-month period from February 2023 through February 2024. DC, there you go, DC Kimba. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Mayor. DC Kiemba, Internal Auditor. One of the Internal Auditor's responsibilities is to present the activities of the Internal Auditor's Office at least once a year. My showing up here this afternoon is in fulfillment of that requirement. But before I go into detail of what I'm going to talk about, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate the city manager, assistant city managers, city attorney, city clerk. They help us do our work, and all the department heads and the staff we work with throughout the year. Also, Mike, maybe he's here, yep, over there. He does the rest of the work as we do in our group. As always, I invite and welcome the Commission's comments, continued feedback on the activity report, and the activities of the Internal Auditor's Office. As the Mayor said, the activity covers 13 months from February 23 through February 24. The staff completed 3 audit projects, and we put numbers on these: 84 million, technical assistance with contracts and agreements. And in addition, we do follow up on the recommendations we make when we do audits. There are 8 current and future audits that are in progress for about 61 million. The activity report provides a dashboard beginning on page 1 if you read the attachments. Beginning on page 1 for a quick reference at a glance that will give you the immediate status of each project. A detailed section follows, includes project's background, the summary, risk ratings, conclusion, on findings, audit results, audit recommendations, and the city department's corrective action or plan of action to implement the audit recommendations. This part of the report is more in-depth for a better understanding. I hope you, the Commission, and people have had a chance to look through the information that we have provided. Before the audit starts, we meet with the appropriate department head or heads to discuss the objectives, scope, and timing of the audit, the records, materials, or access we'll need, and we agree who the staff contact will be. Most of our audits are not total surprises. As you can see on the dashboard, our proposed and future audit areas are listed, albeit in broad strokes. But if we find a need for a surprise audit, yes, we'll show up, we'll ask for the records, we'll ask the questions, and we do what we need to do. Throughout the audit, our audit staff continuously confirms its understanding of external or internal city operations, departments' division procedures, internal controls, or contract requirements, along with state, federal, city, and other regulations as applicable. After the field work is done, a draft report with the details of the findings and recommendations is generated and provided to the relevant respective parties for review. A date is set for a meeting to discuss the contents of the report, and during this meeting, we agree on the findings and the related recommendations. Thereafter, management is requested to provide its responses and the responses are included in the final report. However, if an audit recommendation will not be implemented, then the city department, the contractor, or anyone who was audited at the time is required to provide an explanation to internal audit as to the reasons for non-implementation. Those reasons, too, are included in the final report. And finally, an exit meeting is held, the report is finalized, published, and distributed as necessary. Also, as part of the process, internal audit follows up with every auditee to verify that the recommendations have been implemented as promised by management and that they are working as intended. Prior to corrective action being taken by the departments to implement audit recommendations, risk ratings for the projects range from low to high, and we use green, yellow, or red to indicate what the risks look like. Risk ratings are based on the need for timely city corrective action to enhance internal controls, mitigate identified risks, and comply with contract language, city ordinances, resolutions, state and all federal regulations. After corrective action is taken, or future action is planned to be taken to implement audit recommendations, the changes are expected to achieve low risk ratings, which means no further action would be needed. One thing that does not show up in the report is the consultations that take place on an as-needed basis. Department heads, staff come to us and routinely conduct internal audit and request our involvement in some of the processes they are in planning or they implementing, or they request our presence in some of their new systems planning or implementation meetings. We also do participate in some training courses when called upon and when necessary. As noted on the dashboard, some of the projects listed are part of the city's strategic plan. Again, internal audit welcomes and invites feedback from the Commission. The feedback given on the activity report enables us to better perform our duties and to facilitate your and the public's understanding of the internal auditor's role. As always, we welcome any questions and comments that you may have on the activity report. And Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, that is my presentation.
Very good.
Available for questions, if any.
Very good. Thank you, DC. Appreciate it. Yes, are there any questions from the City Commission? Questions, concerns, comments? I want to say thank you. I mean, yeah, how much? $61 million, and it's amazing the scope of your work and that you look into such detail. And I've said it before. I appreciate the collaborative effort that you have with the other departments of the city as far as trying to improve the processes, improve things, and it's not a gotcha type situation when they hear from the internal auditor's office. It's more of a, hey, we're just here to help make things better for the residents that we serve. And I think that's a terrific way to go about doing what you do. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate it. Very good. All right. Thank you, sir. All right, that takes us up to audience to be heard. Kervin, do we have anyone signed up for audience to be heard?
Yes, Mayor, we have 4 speakers.
Very good.
First speaker is Larry Shorts, followed by Pat Anderson, followed by Joanne Smith, and followed by Kurt Patrick.
Very good.
Larry Shorts. Larry Shorts.
Nothing. Very good. Okay, thank you, sir. I guess, yeah.
Okay, next speaker, Pat Anderson.
Ms. Anderson? Just name and address for the record. You keep your comments to 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hi, this is Pat Russell Anderson. I live in Pompano Beach by the Pink Church at 2650 Northeast 24th Street, Pompano Beach, Florida, 33064-7701, Pompano Beach. There's only one solution to this mess. We've got to get Broward County property appraisers a lot of help and also code. We've got to invest in the future with artificial intelligence. There's no way of getting this straight. Broward County Property Net Public Records changing zip codes and house numbers by attorney Chris Ema of McLean and Ema. The house next door to me, Anderson, is 2640 Northeast 24th Street, Pompano Beach. It's Dundon News. After 7 years of 50 permits for remodeling an interior and exterior, unexpected by Pompano Beach or Lighthouse Point Code and Building. It was multiple listing service sold January 1, 2024 to Eric Demers, a Canadian. Mark Berman does not have authority to give alterations to Broward County property appraiser. Withholding evidence by Berman is just as bad as withholding evidence at Harrison versus Nunez, when Michael Peasy had a trial May 2nd, 2022, which should be a mistrial because he withheld all sorts of information that I gave him through texts and emails. Have a good day.
Thank you. Mr. Berman, would you care to comment on that?
Sorry, I really don't know what Ms. Anderson's talking about. I know she had a seawall issue. The seawall, there was work done next door, and the contractor was held responsible because when they fixed the seawall next door, her seawall collapsed, whether it was hit or in bad condition. We tried to assist her with trying to get the contractor to fix it. She had some type of dispute with the contractor. They had a contract, and eventually she got an attorney. Code enforcement cited her because a year went by, the seawall wasn't repaired, and it was collapsing into the waterway.
You are stop.
Miss Anderson.
He is
I'm sorry.
lying.
Miss Anderson,
Tell the truth.
Miss Anderson, I'm gonna ask you very nicely. Your time under audience to be heard is over. I appreciate it.
Okay, I would like him to be under oath.
Oh,
Period.
thank you, Miss Anderson. So,
In any event, there were never any liens placed on her property by the city. We worked with her attorney, and over a year and 2 years went by until her court case was settled, which I did not attend or was not any part of. They were able to get money from the contractor and pay for her new seawall. There were no liens placed on her property. The city has done nothing to harm Ms. Anderson. No liens or any harm was done to her property. I don't know what the complaint about is. All we've ever done is try and assist her, and somehow that was confused over hurting her or doing something. I don't know what the address situation she's talking about is about. I have absolutely no idea. Didn't involve my office or the city in any way. All we ever tried to do is assist her. We've done nothing to hurt her. I have no records of any smash. I don't know what she's talking about. Code enforcement might have some photos of the violation, but other than that, I really don't know what she's talking about. She's here quite a bit, and she's just a lovely person. I don't want to say anything, but I do want to try and set the record straight because we just sit here week after week and hear the same thing and don't know what it's about. So
very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Joanne Smith.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Joanne Smith, My address is 2971 Northwest 7th Street, Pompano Beach, Florida, 33069. We're here today because of, it has been, first of all, thank you for the beautiful facility, Commissioner Perkins, Mayor Harden, and others, for the facility that we have, the City Pompano Beach Senior Activity Center. However, it's come to our attention that you guys would like to start renting the facility out like they do at other facilities. We may be wrong, but that's what we've been told. But we're just asking that you take in consideration, because we know we have 6 other centers here in Pompano Beach: Mitchell Moore, Olson, Skolnick, McNair, Pat Loggins, and Burroughs. Please consider renting those out before renting our activity center out. Even if you decide to rent activity center, please look at weekends like Saturdays and Sundays only, okay? Also, and if you decide to do it during the week, just think critical thinking. It's gonna cause a problem with you all getting additional funds to send us to other activities while we're out of the building. So we're just asking that you please take that into consideration, not renting our center out to the public.
Very good. All right. I appreciate your input on that. I'm not sure what.
Mayor, question. So you're saying the facility that you're in, what time do you all leave?
4 o'clock.
4
We
o'clock.
leave at 4.
So after 4 is a good time if we wanted to rent the facility, that would be good?
Right. Only except on Fridays. A lot of people like to set up if they're having a Friday night affair.
But in other words, you're saying don't rent out the facility while you all are there, of course.
Right,
'Cause you don't
right.
want to be moved out of there.
Yes, because we've been moved out at Pat Lockton before, kicked out, rather.
Okay, so you all are not in the facility on the weekend, so that's okay to rent it out at that time?
Yes.
Okay, I understand that.
Very good. No,
I think the city manager is working on trying to rent out the facility, but it's in no way to remove you all from the facility at all.
Okay.
That's the new senior activity center.
Yes.
Right.
Located on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Thank you.
Got it.
Yeah, we don't want to see you all disrupted. No. Very good. Thank you. Thank you all for coming forward. Appreciate it. Message received. Very good. Kervin, next speaker.
Kurt Patrick, followed by Colt Farley.
I wanted to laugh so bad, I just had to hold my head down.
Kurt Patrick, are you in the audience?
Mr. Patrick? Guess not.
Okay, Mr. Farley, Cole Farley.
Just name and address for the record, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cole Farley. I live at 919 Northeast 10th Ave, Pompano Beach, Florida, 33060. And I've lived in Pompano Beach my entire life. The city of Pompano is a huge part of who I am, and I plan to be here long enough for it to be a big part of my kids as well. This year, I started getting more involved in the community and vigilant about certain issues that impact this community, not only because I live here, but because I'm also a business owner. My dad and I operate a landscape business, and we're both very passionate about the environment and creating beautiful spaces to enhance our community. This leads me to a question for everybody. I don't think anybody enjoys high water bills or overgrown lawns or dead ones. And I can tell you based on my experience, nobody likes them. There is a solution. Revising our city code to allow artificial turf to be used in the front yards would help with that. I happen to have turf myself. I've installed it in other communities, other cities, and there's a long list of benefits to turf that a lot of people don't know. I'll pass out some literature on that to you guys, and I'll hit some key points here. Reduction in water consumption from irrigation systems, less fertilizers, pesticides, and fungicides will be sprayed onto our grass, which inevitably ends up leaching into our groundwater. Promotion of healthier landscapes by having more trees and shrubs, reduced maintenance needs, which in turn would help with cost savings and fuel consumption. It's also possible that allowing people to put turf in their front yard would promote some people who have, unruly yards to maybe go that direction. Altering the city code would not only give the city control and accountability through permitting, but also help eliminate the unprofessional installations. And some just key things on the unprofessional installations is like loose seams, loose edges, improper bases, bad quality turf. And one of the big things I think if it was done through permitting would be, mandatory amount of trees through some type of formula per square footage of artificial turf and mandatory shrubs. And synthetic turf is becoming more popular. Homeowners are going to continue installing it, which will keep code enforcement busy if we don't change this. And by revising our current code to allow turf in our yards, the city can take control of the situation, ensure proper and professional installation that will enhance our neighborhoods. I'm really fast. Thank you, guys.
Very good.
Just going to hand this out to you real quick, if that's okay.
Appreciate it. If you could just give that to the city clerk, he'll pass it out to us. That'd be great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Mayor, can I respond quickly?
I wrote a code in here.
Okay, terrific. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Fournier, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Farley, for being here. This is a topic I do get a lot of questions on in District 3. I think it probably impacts the districts differently. If you're in condos, turf in the yard doesn't really matter because you have less individual single-family backyards and front yards that people are managing. I get a lot of questions about what am I allowed to do in my backyard, what am I allowed to do in my front yard, and there is some confusion about what is allowed. And there are more people installing this. So I do think it's something that's just worth us taking a look at what we're doing and seeing if there's any updates we can make to our code to allow people to use this, but to use it in a way that works, and looks professional and is done how we want it done here in Pompano. So, and we doing.
Okay, we could ask the city manager to look into it
Okay.
and come back to us with an analysis or something like that. Have staff look into it. Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I got Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't recall that we have been looking into a code for artificial turf installation guidelines. And maybe it was before COVID. Perhaps it's fallen by the wayside, but in areas in District 2 that don't have reclaimed water, specifically most of the area except for the islands, do not have reclaimed. And it is and if there's no irrigation system and county water, that is an expense for folks getting irrigation systems in, et cetera. And it's impossible in some cases to grow a decent looking lawn. Maybe it was Horatio. I don't know if Horatio's here. We were looking into doing a code? Maybe I dreamt it, I don't know. Nonetheless, the strides in artificial turf, it's made great strides. They've come a long way. And I think it's something we should look at as far as the installation. I do see some going in from time to time, and it's always as I'm driving in the neighborhood, and I look over and I'm like, wow, that looks great. I get homeowners that get cited for bald spots in their lawn, which is not really a grass lawn. It's more like mounds of weeds. And unless we have a nice rainy season, we're not getting nice-looking lawns. And just kind of a fact, and I'm not saying everyone can afford to do it, but there are those that do. People have large shade trees, are unable to grow grass because they're not getting enough light. So other cities are doing it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the drawback would be, frankly. So I think it might be something that we might want to look at.
Very good. Yeah, Mr. Harrison, I think you've heard from the commission. You've got Vice Mayor. He's been shaking his pencil. He's been taking notes. Vice Mayor?
I would just ask if we are going to look into it, that we do look at the drawbacks which are environmental. Where are we with the recycling of these plastic after it wears out its age? How that's going? Are we switching out for microplastics? We've heard in other park presentations that the turf is by design, it's hotter than regular grass. Also, then we also lose the fact that grass and plants, turn everything to oxygen and keep us going. Is it really kind of the equivalent of just paving over as far as our ecosystem's concerned? So I just would like, if we're going to look into it, like that we dive deep and look at, yes, it can be pretty, but let's make sure we're not making everything hotter and plastic. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a very, very good point, Vice, because I assume there's a reason that our code prohibits it. So, yeah, let's take a look at it, but let's find out both sides, pros and cons. So, Mr. Harrison, he is on it. He'll have the appropriate person look into it. Very good, thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Moss.
Just a question. I certainly don't have any objection to looking into this, but would rain falling on this grass, is it permeable? Does the rain go down into the ground, or does it roll off into the street? That may be why it's a violation of code.
And I'm not sure if that's a question we can really answer up here, but I'm sure there are those who can. Mr. Fournier?
Yeah, just quickly in response to that, that is one of the big issues, which is drainage and ensuring that, whether this is categorized as pervious or impervious. I think different cities have different takes on that, but certainly the drainage issue would have to be accounted for, which is why I think Mr. Farley was saying that let's look at how to do this like through permitting in the right way instead of just allowing people to do whatever they wanted.
Very good. So Mr. Harrison is on it. Sir. Okay.
That concludes audience to be heard, Mayor.
Very good. That takes care of audience to be heard. All right, that takes us up to our consent agenda. Can I get a motion approving item 1?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Item 2 is an approval.
Approval to piggyback Clay County RFP number 18/19-2 for the furnishing of playground equipment at the beach playground for Public Works Department by Topline Recreation, Inc.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. This item was pulled by Commissioner Fournier. Commissioner?
Thank you, Mayor. I will be very brief, but I was kind of excited to see this item. So a couple questions on it. The drawing in the backup, is that exactly what we are doing, and we are replacing the current equipment at the main playground at the beach with this?
Good afternoon, Rob McCon, Public Works Director. Yes, Commissioner, that is the depiction of what we're purchasing.
Okay. And what is the timing for this project?
Assuming you approve it today, we'll sign the purchase order, probably about an 8-week delivery time. So probably in June is the expectation. If the delivery is delayed, could be August.
Okay, great. So we will have updated playground equipment at the beach before next fall, basically.
Yes.
Sounds like. Okay, thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions?
And
Commissioner Harrison. Oh,
Fournier,
wait, you're not a commissioner. Mr. Harrison.
The rock will be moved.
Where's the rock going, Mr.?
Removed.
Oh, removed, good. Thank you.
You want it in your yard?
Sure.
Wait a minute. We can't. You can't expend funds like that. Very good. For the commission. For the commission questions, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes, that takes us up to our regular agenda. Item number 3 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a First Amendment to the lease agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and Colt, South Florida, owner LP, for the fire logistics facility, exercising a 1-year lease extension, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Chief Hudson.
Mr. Hudson works fine too. Steve Hudson, Fire Chief. This is a second reading. Here for any comments. Nothing's changed since the first reading.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier?
Yes.
Commissioner Moss?
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton?
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee?
Yes.
Mayor Harden?
Yes. Item number 4 is a second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a Second Amendment to the Agreement for Government Banking Services between the City of Pompano Beach and J.P. Morgan Chase Bank, N.A., providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for discussion. Good afternoon, Ms. Furtado.
Good afternoon, Mayor. Allison Furtado, Finance Director. There is no change since our first reading.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes. Captain Stallings, could I ask you to take the conversation outside? I'd appreciate it. Thank you, sir. That takes us up to item 5, is the first reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, approving and authorizing the proper city officials to execute a First Amendment to the ground lease agreement between the City of Pompano Beach and 20 North Oceanside Owners, LLC, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. Good afternoon, Mr. Lance.
Afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, Jeff Lance, Parking Manager. Item before you this afternoon is an amendment to a ground lease agreement with J.J. Land, originally approved by Commission as ordinance 2020-31 in February 2020. Subsequently, J.J. Land assigned the agreement to CF Land Realty and R.W. Ocean Land LLC, who assigned the agreement to 20 North Oceanside LLC on June 1st, 2023. Both assignments of the original agreement were approved by Resolution 2023-169. Primary use of this property as public parking will continue to be instrumental during the continued development on the Barrier Island and in the Pompano Pier area. Property is used daily by residents, area employees, patrons of local businesses, and beachgoers alike. Property has approximately 180 paved parking spaces and 130 grass parking spaces on an adjoining lot. 20 North Oceanside will isolate an area on the northwest corner of this property to build a sales office for future sales, which will remove approximately 30 spaces from our overall capacity. Major temporary use permit for this was approved by Zoning Board of Appeals on December 14th, 2023. And that concludes my presentation.
Very good. Thank you for that. This is a public hearing. Is there any input from the public on this item? Seeing none, public input closed. Commission discussion, questions, concerns? Seeing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, thank you for that, Mr. Lance. Item number 6 is a resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Pompano Beach, Florida, appointing blank to the Sand and Spurs Advisory Board of the City of Pompano Beach to fill the unexpired term of Kim Boros, said term to expire on April 26, 2026, providing an effective date.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second for discussion. I'd like to nominate Amy Vero Hobb, alternate number 1 from District 3. She's been serving as the alternate, and she's got a horse out there, as other applicants do. But and I know if we move Amy Vero Hobb up to this position, then I believe Kervin, well, I'm going to ask Kervin immediately to put on the next agenda an item to fill the alternate 1 position, so we can then fill that with somebody else who is well-deserving to serve on this board. So I have nominated Amy Vero Hobb. From
Mayor.
the nominations.
I'd like to nominate Ann Ward.
Very good, Ann Ward.
And I'd like to say that she's the only certified and insured riding instructor there. She's been riding there since 1998. She has had a horse there since 2012. And while I appreciate the alternates and everyone's willingness to serve as volunteers on these boards, I think it's very important that we have someone with longevity who knows the history and has been there a long time, attends the meeting just as a resident. And as far as I understand, the alternate has only had a horse there for a couple of years and only served as the alternate for a couple of years. I think that Ann Ward is the best person for this position. And we are having a lot of other vacancies come up as the rounds get renominated again in April as their terms expire. So I again am going to nominate Ann Ward because I feel that this park needs her experience on this board. Thank you.
Very good, thank you. Further nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. And so when your name is called, please indicate your choice, either Amy Vero Hobb, alternate 1, or Ann Ward. Let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Amy Vero Hobb.
Commissioner Moss,
Amy Vero Hobb,
Commissioner Perkins,
Ann Ward.
Commissioner Seeger-Sin Eaton,
Ann Ward.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Amy Vero Hobb.
Mayor Harden.
Amy Vero Hobb, thank you. And as I just indicated, Kervin, if you can see to it that on our next agenda, we have an item for the alternate one position for Sand and Spur Stables. Put that on the agenda.
Yes,
Thank you.
Mayor.
Very good. That takes care of item 6. Item 7 is consideration to sign a 5-year contract with ShotSpotter. I'll turn this over to Mr. Harrison.
So our contract with ShotSpotter is up on March 16th. And after reviewing the numbers on this, I'm not inclined to renew that. I wanted to take this before you all, but before we do, I'd like for you to hear from Sergeant Weslowski and Colonel Samaru. So, who's going to start?
First.
Okay.
Very good.
Everyone. My current position right now is with the Broward Sheriff's Office as a sergeant.
And identify
the
yourself.
Real-Time Crime Center.
Could you identify yourself also for the record?
Yes, sir. It's Sergeant Wesolowski with Broward County Sheriff's Office in the city of Pompano Beach. So my current position is with the Real-Time Crime Center, which opened approximately February of 2021. Approximately a month later, we did get the ShotSpotter system here in the city of Pompano Beach. So during that same time frame with ShotSpotter, we've also had our Real-Time Crime Center, which hosts approximately 630 630 CCTVs, PTZs, which are cameras, and our ALPR, which are license plate readers. With that said, our ShotSpotter system, we responded in the last 3 years, just short of 3 years, to 1,349 cases. Of that 1,349 cases that we responded to, we had a total of 45 arrests. That's a 3-year period. The arrests that are involving firearms, of the 45, 32 of them did involve firearms, where we were able to take approximately 32 firearms off of the street. We had 13 other arrests that included warrant arrest, individuals that, whether it was narcotics related, when we came upon the individuals due to responding to a shot being fired in that particular area of the city of Pompano. Ultimately, the arrest for that time frame equals out to only 3.33% for our total time that we were out there. Of the 45 arrests, 2 of them were violent crimes that we actually received 2 911 calls on. One of them was a individual that was shot in the elbow, and the other one was an individual that was beat up by a boyfriend and shot at. Other than that, we had, of those 45 arrests, no other ones were involving an individual being injured with the firearm.
Good afternoon, Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Samaru, Broward Sheriff's Office, Deputy Chief of Patrol Services. ShotSpotter is a supplemental program. For the city of Pompano Beach and any city that there is, the Sheriff's Office has a fiduciary duty to give you the best advice. Smart policing, that's the way of the future, technology. LPRs, real-time crime centers, that's what's catching the criminals right now. ShotSpotters have an alert, but how do we catch these people in motor transportation? And I spoke to the city manager prior for this, and I think it's the best interest to definitely look at technology that benefits the city of Pompano Beach rather than one particular mechanism that just alerts because someone doesn't call 911 for a shot.
Very good. Thank you for that.
Thank you. So, in a nutshell, what this boils down to is we budgeted for ShotSpotter through this budget. which was $780,000 over a 3-year period. So for the rest of this year, we would have a balance of right around $130,000 that we could use for the equipment that Colonel Semery was talking about. That's much, in other words, there's a lot more value to investing in cameras and license plate readers. So I just want to go on record of this, and I wanted either you all to either back me up or tell me no, go ahead and contract with them again and bring it to us.
Gotcha. So basically, we had a 3-year contract for $780,000.
Yes, sir.
Their proposal is a 5-year contract going forward for $1.7 million. But what the results we've gotten so far have been indicated, have been almost, I mean, I hate, nothing's insignificant, but it's very, very small, and it hasn't really done the job that we had hoped it would do, is kind of what I'm getting.
That's correct. And where we are now in our policing, we are getting a lot more bang for our buck by using these cameras and license plate readers. So my simple recommendation is to use that money for them, and then we'll get into this in more detail for the following budget year with regard to the same type of equipment.
Right, so basically you want to use the remaining budget fund for this year for upgrades to our current CCTV or elsewhere, and not go forward with ShotSpotter, and we'll figure out next budget year through next budget year.
Exactly.
Through the budget process. Gotcha. Very good. Yeah, because I know the commission really is who drove the ShotSpotter program to begin with, so yeah, you're bringing it to the commission, even though it is pretty much an administrative matter, but you're bringing it back to us since we kind of were the instigating factor in it. Okay, gotcha. Okay, we'll open it up for discussion. We have Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you. I know I've many times said from this dais, for the record, I'm a big proponent of the cameras and the LPRs. They've yielded so many good results, and in fact, we caught those vandals on the pier who broke all those beautiful lights and artwork. I think I agree with you. I see more cameras in more places. I think it's better for the community, and also it deters crime and it keeps people safer. And it doesn't cost nearly as much as an officer costs for a year. And it's a very effective way. It's evidence, and I say go for the cameras.
Very good.
That's my feelings. Thank you.
I've got Commissioner Moss, then I'll have Commissioner Fournier. Commissioner Moss?
Yeah, I have to agree with Commissioner Severson-Eaton. The cameras that we've had placed in Collier City have been very effective in other parts of District 5, but I'm just curious about this enormous increase in price. How do they justify that, Sergeant? Are they going to give us all new equipment?
Sir, it's not actually an increase in price. It actually went down just a little bit. In all fairness, the $1.8 million is for 5 years, whereas the $800,000 was only for 3 years.
Okay, so
it's actually $68,000 per square mile, and we have it in 5 square miles, so 68 times 5. But it did go down just a little bit. I believe it was $74,000 or $75,000 a square mile, without reflecting back in the paperwork for the last 3 years.
And in this new contract, are they offering anything like new equipment, more technical assistance in the new contract as opposed to the old one?
No, sir. Everything that we currently have now would just carry over. If there is an issue, I email them. They in turn come out and they'll correct it, update it, replace whatever that issue may be.
Okay. Well, I mean, I agree with the city manager that this money could be better spent elsewhere, particularly seeing that we've had such success with the cameras. They've really served their purpose as well, and they've done a good job in Collier City and in Palmyra too. So I would support the city manager's position on this.
Very good. Before we go to Commissioner Fournier, Mr. Berman, did you have something you wanted to add? Oh, okay, very good. Commissioner Fournier.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm in concurrence with my colleagues here. I've spent some hours in the Real-Time Crime Center, on a couple visits, and it is amazing the work that's going on in there. The cameras, the LPRs are constantly going off and providing data and leads. The shot spotter, while I was there, didn't go off. I mean, they can find you a clip and show you how it has worked, but it's not something that is particularly, I think, useful day in and day out there. And to hear the stats that of the 1,349 cases, 45 arrests were made. So I don't know if that means there's a lot of false alarms going on there, or there's a lot of you can't actually find the incident or the people after it goes off and you respond. But you respond to all 1,349 of those cases?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
That's a lot of resources to result in 45 arrests, given how effective the other tools, the cameras and the LPRs are. So I would agree that it is better to redeploy that money to the areas that are working for us right now and this contract. Thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. How many shot spotters do we have throughout the city?
We had 1,349 cases.
Okay.
Or are you asking about the equipment or the?
The equipment that detects
I'm not going
the
to give
shooting.
that out. That's sensitive information.
Pardon me?
We will not divulge that information at this point in this setting.
I just asked how many. I didn't say where.
But there's a square mileage.
It's through a 5 square mile.
Yeah, it's various individual sound receiving devices, but it covers like 5 square miles.
Right. So I was reading here that, so we as a city have been paying for this. I don't know why, for some reason, I just thought that all the money that we pay BSO, the $59 million, it should come out of that. But
that is in our
I
budget.
was that's a lot. So, right, I'm not sure if this is accurate or not, but I was telling the city manager earlier that I remember I came home one day and there was shooting, and I called the captain, and he said the shooting was over near the Girls and Boys Club, and we found out the shooting was on 15th, where Miss Moreland lived, which was very, very off. It was just nowhere near where the shooting took place, where they picked up the signal. So I don't think this is accurate, but what I do like, answer this, the real-time cameras, do we have someone manning that on a regular basis?
Yes, ma'am, we do. We
I mean, 24 hours a day?
No, ma'am. We do not. The latest we have is 10 o'clock at night, unless there is some type of event going on at a location that we have cameras at.
Because I would like to see this money go toward hiring somebody 24/7 for the real-time cameras. Because if you're looking at that and you see people gathering, like the incident that happened in Collier City on 27th, and you're looking at this, real time, and you can just make some calls and say, we need to get some people over there, they're gathering, before something actually happens, so. But yeah, that's just, I don't think it's accurate. I think it's too costly, and that's my take. Thank you.
But just for clarification, so it is in the BSO budget, but we added to the BSO budget to pay for this, correct?
Yes, sir. It's in my budget every year.
Okay, it is part of the BSO budget, but of course their budget went up when we put ShotSpotter in place.
Okay,
So
I understand that now. Okay.
Pass through, so to speak. Yes, I've got Vice Mayor.
No, I think from what the rest of the commission, I agree with everything the rest of the commission's been saying about, it was a cool idea, the program, the technology, but it's just not, it's not living up to what we had hoped it would. But I also have to say, I want to agree with Commissioner Perkins in her assessment of things. I think trying to expand coverage into the night hours when things could be going wrong, and even, helping address, homeless camps and vandalism that's happening. Usually that happens late at night. And yeah, I think that would be another good utilization of where we could redirect resources. Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, Mr. Harrison, I think you see we've got your back. How's that? Okay, that dispenses with item number 7. Thank you both. Appreciate that. Item number 8 is discussion and consideration item for the annual performance evaluation for Mr. D.C. Kiemba, internal auditor.
Making my job.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved and second for discussion. Who? Oh. Do you want to, yeah, give it, go ahead. Ms. Sanigo, go ahead.
Lisa Sonego, Human Resources Director. You did the announcement of the item, and here to discuss the evaluation of Mr. Kiemba and any placement of pay. Any placement of pay would be effective December 21, which is his anniversary date. And so I just wanted to make sure I stated that to you all.
Mm-hmm.
That's effective.
Very good. All right.
Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Perkins.
Based on his performance, I'd like to make a motion that we give him a 5% increase.
5% increase, very good. A motion to award a 5% merit increase for Mr. D.C. Kiemba. Is there a second? I'll second that. Just discussion. I don't see any discussion. This is, Mr. Berman.
Yes, sir.
Should we take public input on these two items? No, it's administrative.
It's an internal matter for the city. It's not
administrative, correct, yeah.
public.
That's very good. All right, if no further comments, questions, concerns, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioner Fournier,
Yes.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
Yes?
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, great job, DC. Thank you for all you do, seriously. You keep your eye on everything. That takes us up to item number 9. You want me to announce this one? Okay. Discussion and consideration item for the annual performance evaluation for Mr. Gregory P. Harrison, City Manager. Ms. Sonego. You can cue it up.
Thank you. Lisa Sonego, Human Resources Director. And while you discuss this evaluation for Mr. Harrison, any placement of pay would be effective February 21 of 2024, and that is his promotion date to City Manager.
Very good. Thank you for that. All right. Who wants to take the floor? Well, I'll take the floor. Mr. Harrison, I think you've been doing a great job. Honestly, where the city is, where the city has come from, with all that's been going on, I think the residents overall are pleased. Are we perfect? Of course not. And you know that, and we all know that. But where the city of Pompano Beach is versus where it has been in the past is, in my mind, just fantastic. Now, we've got more work to do, but I think you've been doing a great job at the helm of our city, and I think that deserves a 5% merit increase. And I would make that motion.
I'd second it.
Discussion, commission discussion, questions, concerns. I've got Vice Mayor, then I've got Commissioner Moss.
I was just pointing.
Oh, okay. I guess I've got Commissioner Moss.
Okay. I just want to echo your comments, Mr. Mayor. I think that our city manager has done an outstanding job. And, you know, I was first elected to this commission in 2014, and it's a very different city today from what it was even that short period of time ago. And I think a lot of the credit goes to the city manager. He has hired a very effective staff who relates well among themselves and with the commission, but also with the community. I think we're in a very good place, and we owe a lot to the city manager, and especially a thanks for all that you do.
They're there. Further, Commissioner, got Commissioner Fournier?
Thank you. Can we clarify the cost of living raise? So was there a 3% cost of living raise also that was effective this year? So this would be 3% and then another 5% on top of that?
That is correct. So all of your officers did receive a 3% this past October.
I struggle with these raises because on these large numbers, of which Mr. Harrison does make, because he's running a big city. When we sat here last year, the number of the current salary was, would be $1,700 a paycheck less than what we're suggesting today. And I don't know anyone else who has seen that type of pay increase on a percentage basis over the last year. I don't know. I don't think our residents have seen that in their paychecks. So I think asking them to pay for that is difficult. So I struggle with these because we're talking about such these cumulative raises every year, 3% and then 5% on top of that, another 3% and another 5% that we keep doing every year. And it is, it is going to be budget time, and we have to spend people's dollars wisely, and I think this is a tough one. So thank you.
Very good. Further commission discussion? Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. From the last evaluation from Greg Harrison, I've taken notes since last year, dates, times, and everything, and I won't go through all of that with some of the issues I've been having. But I will say what I am displeased about. There was an incident that happened in October where I asked staff to organize or set up a meeting with myself, the people in District 4, with the new developer that's doing the new downtown. And that was the beginning of October. And I was told later that it was too soon to meet with the developer. So I waited. The next thing I know, staff schedule a meeting at the Culture Arts Center and the MLU. So staff put out in the community that Beverly does not want to meet with the developer. And I was very disturbed by that because that was never my intention to not meet with the developer because the project is going to happen either way it goes. But staff put that out, that I was not willing to meet with the developer. And I was very upset about that, Mr. Harrison, from your staff.
I'm not sure where you got that from. I do not believe that our staff put out that you would not meet.
Yes, because when I met with the developer and I finally connected with him, he was told the same thing. So I do know that he did not get it from the community because he lives in Atlanta. He doesn't live here. So I just think that,
I believe you're referring to the setting up of an appointment that you said you could not make, and we relayed back to the person about that appointment.
No, let me finish. I think that there needs to be better communication, again, with you and I. I've been saying the same thing to you since 2016, is that I would like to know what's going on in my district. And I'm still not informed. So when staff decided to have the meeting at the Culture Arts Center and the MLU, I found out when the public found out. Not that I have to make any changes or make any recommendations, it's just that I didn't know, which I had already made plans before those two events were put in place. But I just think that we need better communication. I need to be better informed as to what you're doing in my district before you do it, so that I'm aware. When people call me, I want to know what's going on in my district. So I've been saying that to you since 2016. So how much does Greg Harrison make a year?
His current rate of pay is $356,130.74.
300 and what?
56.
356,000.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Is that because he holds two titles? He's the city manager and the executive director of the CRA? Is that because of that?
It's not a combination. He just has one rate of pay. He covers those pieces, but he has one rate of pay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's within the 75th percentile of comparables that are looked upon in the region of the cities.
Okay.
Speak into the microphone. Microphone. When
All
you're
right.
speaking, please speak into the microphone.
Like I was, apologies. He's within the 75th percentile of comparable cities that we look at in the region.
Okay. I just have one other question before you take a seat. Is there a reason that both these valuations were put on the agenda at the same time? Is there a reason for that?
Not to my understanding. I do know that DC, our internal auditor, has finished his annual, and this is when he does this, is common this time of year.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you. I won't read this list of things that I've written down over the years with dates and times of issues or whatever, but hopefully, Mr. City Manager, we can sit down and talk and perhaps communicate better and be better business partners in the future. Thank you, that's it.
Very good. Vice Mayor.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you gave us those. 'Cause in the past, the evaluations have included the full salary and the percentile. Oh, I said, in the past, we've seen it where it had the percentile, which I think is really, it just helps with having the full picture, I think. And, I'm super proud of where we are with our city, and I think, our city manager brings us, I love the fact that he also brings us where we can cut when necessary, like we just did with the prior item. And I also know from attending more countywide and city events how rare a great city manager is, and that we're lucky to have him, and that many other cities in Broward County's city managers turn to him throughout the years for different things. So I'm excited to have him, and that's it. Just wanted to
Very good.
put that in. Thank you.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you. I, too, am happy to have Greg Harrison here at the helm in the city of Pompano Beach. And I kind of look at it a little differently. It's like cost of living raise is really what it is. It's cost of living. Merit raise, I think is merited. The progress that this city has made over the last 10, 12, 15 years, I think is amazing. And wherever you go, whatever you're doing with any other governmental entities in Broward, they're so complimentary and so amazed through the League of City and others, just amazed how well Pompano is doing. They're going, how did you guys do that? What are you doing with your codes? I'm running into that all the time. And I was in the city manager's office the other day, and on his desk was City Manager of the Year award, that his fellow city managers throughout Broward County recognize him after being president of, I'm sorry, was it the state city manager, or was it Broward? Broward. And serving on it during a very tough time in COVID, bringing home that award, leading the county and leading other city managers, sharing information, which is the greatest gift that you can do. It's earned him a spot, and it's earned him that respect. And my significant other has been in the business for 40, 50 years, and he mentioned to me, he's mentioned it more than once, he has never seen a better city manager than Greg Harrison. So for me, that says a lot. You have steered this city through and achieved $185 or so million general obligation bond, of which so much of that has gone into improving the entire city and making those efforts. I'm sort of on a tangent, and I apologize for that, but needless to say, I support your motion, Mayor, and I will end it at that. Thank you.
Very good. Mr. Harrison, when were you selected as city manager?
2017.
2017.
Yes, sir.
Been a bunch of good years. Thank you for that. Further commissioners, Commissioner Perkins.
I just have one other question for Human Resources. What is meant by pay grade 96X? What does that mean?
Pay grade 96X?
Yes.
I'd have to look up that for you to check that out. You're talking about for his pay?
Yes, I was just wondering what the grade means by.
I'll get back to you.
Okay, that would be fine. You can get back with me on that. Just wanted to understand that.
Apologies. Yep.
That's it, thank you.
Very good. But yeah, 96X, there's nobody else in that pay grade, I'm sure. It's like it's a city manager's. Okay. Very good. Further commission discussion? Hearing none, let's go ahead and call the roll.
Commissioners Fournier,
No.
Commissioner Moss,
Yes.
Commissioner Perkins,
No.
Commissioner Segerson-Eaton,
Yes.
Vice Mayor McGee,
Yes.
Mayor Harden.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you for all you do, Mr. Harrison. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, that completes our regular agenda. Do we have any additional audience to be heard?
No further speakers, Mayor.
Very good, no further speakers. Our next scheduled meetings, we've got March 26, 2024 at 6 p.m., a regular City Commission meeting. April 4th, 2024 at 10 a.m. is a City Commission budget workshop. April 9th, 2024 at 1 p.m., regular City Commission meeting. All right, that takes us up to reports.
Mayor?
Yes, Mr. Alfred.
Just want to note that the April 4th meeting will be held in the city manager's conference room.
Okay, very good. Thank you for that notation. So April 4th will be in City Manager's large conference room. Very good. Thank you. All right, that takes us up to reports. Mr. Harrison.
Yes, sir. We have an introduction that needs to be made. Mary, would you please stand? We have Mary Ribeiro is our new purchasing director.
Oh,
Pompano Beach.
Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Mary comes to us from the Broward County Public School System and is getting her feet wet with municipal purchases right now. So.
All right, very good. Thank you for that. Appreciate your good service.
And just want to let all of you know that our staff is in the process of bidding the McNabb Road project. This will be sidewalks, landscaping, drainage, and paving. We will defer the bridge until we secure funding for the bridge. So we're going to go right into what we can afford to do. Okay?
Okay.
All right. That's my report. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Mr. Berman, City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. No report at this time.
Very good. Mr. Alfred, City Clerk.
No report.
Very good. Moving on to City Commission. Commissioner Fournier.
No report.
All right. Commissioner Moss.
Two things, Mr. Mayor. First of all, the second in the Palm Air concert series is going to take place this coming Saturday at what I call the Great Lawn or the Esplanade by the South Bridge. The last one was an enormous success. There were 250 people counted by Ty at the concert, and I counted another 50 hanging off the balconies watching. So very, very big success. My hat's off to you. It's really nice that Palm Air is finally getting noticed, and as you can see from the turnout, we appreciate it. The second thing I want to do is give my thanks to the solid waste disposable team. We've had a big problem with homeless encampments along Atlantic Boulevard and in Collier City, and they've started the process of cleaning them up. I know it's a long and involved one where you have to dot a lot of I's and cross a lot of T's, but that has started to take place, and that's making a difference in District 5. So, Mr. Ketchum, thank you very much for what you do in that regard, too. And otherwise, all is good, and I wish you a happy week. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Perkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Commissioner, since you mentioned the homeless, I'd like to suggest that we look into organizing or starting a homeless committee for the city of Pompano, and perhaps all the commissioners can choose someone to be on that committee. I think Cassandra is doing a good job, but it's such a huge problem in the city. Excuse me. It's such a huge problem. I think she could possibly use some help with a committee to better resolve some of the issues that are taking place. The second thing I wanted to mention was that I wanted to come in and thank Pastor Moise at Bethel AME Church for bringing civil rights attorney Ben Crump to the city of Pompano Beach. It was very nice. I thank you for coming, Mayor. Very inspirational speaker and well attended. Lastly, I wanted to say Happy National Women's History Month. And that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Segerson-Eaton.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one thing. The Crest Haven Civic Association will be meeting this Thursday evening at 7 p.m. at the Charlotte Burry Center. So I just wanted to let everyone know that. And that's it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Vice Mayor McGee.
I just wanted to bring attention to a CRA Pompano Beach CRA Facebook post I saw earlier about reaching out to businesses that are celebrating St. Patrick's Day this weekend to contact us. I think they're trying to put together information for our residents, and then anyone going out to celebrate this weekend, stay safe, use Uber. And again, be safe. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you for that. I just want to say congratulations to DC Kiemba and Mr. Harrison for your great work and recognition by the commission. That's all I've got. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.